Colin, thank you so much for joining me because we've been watching this unfold, of course, with Afghanistan and this humanitarian crisis that we're in. First of all, let's get your title with Catholic Charities.
Well, I'm the Director of Migration and Refugee Services.
Talk about the deep history in our community before we get specifics about many of the folks from Afghanistan who will be coming to us. With Catholic Charities, you all have been doing this work in the community for how many years now?
So yeah, we've been doing this in a formal way for 40 years and even longer than that. That's really was a response to resettling people from Southeast Asia. You know, the church came together and hosted and, you know, really walked alongside a lot of those people that were coming out of Vietnam and Cambodia. So we have a really deep history, especially in a kind of a community-based way of providing resettlement services to folks.
So many different nationalities that you've dealt with and who have resettled here in our community. We really are quite a melting pot. Don't you agree?
Yes, you know, we have, you know, over the years, we have resettled people from all over the world. You know, as I mentioned, people from Vietnam, that was kind of in the 80s, and then we transitioned to working with people from former states in Yugoslavia, Bosnia, Croatia, and you know we've continued. You know, we've worked with people from Somalia, Sudan, people from all over the world. So really, you know, as you see that Louisville is such a diverse and welcoming place, and we've really had a real hand in that.
So when this crisis came up and there was a chance for some folks from Afghanistan to come here, did somebody reach out to you, or does Catholic Charities reach out to them and go, yes, we can take people?
So the way that it works really was we're part of a national network. You know, all the resettlement agents, there are resettlement agencies all over the United States, and we're part of a network. It's the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops. So really, we work really closely with them as a partner. Of course, when we do refugee resettlement and other services, we work closely with them. So as soon as the crisis in Afghanistan, it was appearing on the news and the community was asking us, we were at the same time having some conversations with our national partners and letting them know, you know, how can we help? What can we do? You know, this is what we do. This is what we do the best, you know, being ready to mobilize the community to welcome people from overseas to take part.
Have we heard how many Afghan refugees will be coming to Louisville?
Yeah, so you know, when we had a conversation with our national partner, and I consulted with the community. You know, we're very, very deeply involved with other community organizations. Of course, you can't do this alone. You need to leverage support from all sectors here in the metro area, and that's of course in a formalized way with other nonprofits, but also just the community at large, people that would volunteer and donate. So after that consultation process, we put forward a number of being able to resettle up to 150 individuals.
Now, is that just for Catholic Charities? Like you said, other agencies may take in
yes
as well with KRM and different agencies. So 150.
Just for us. Yeah, that's
All
our
right.
part.
Well, let's talk about many of the families who are coming. And these are not the first Afghan refugees here, correct? I think there have been some others, or?
Yeah, we, of course, as I mentioned, we have a deep history of providing resettlement services. So we have worked with Afghans over the years, people from Afghanistan. You may have seen in the news some of the people that were special immigrant visa holders, people that had worked with the United States military and their contractors who had come in previous years. And we've really established a really great relationship with that community. We estimate here in Louisville about 80 plus families of people from Afghanistan. And as I mentioned, they've come some years ago, so they're really integrated into our community and really equipped to help us with these new people from Afghanistan to get acclimated. It's been really great to hear from people reaching out saying, oh, I came, or my parents came, how can I help the new people coming?
So good to have people already enlisted who are from that area to
Yeah.
help in this transition for these new families coming in. So the families who are coming in, we have 150 people, and I'm sure that breaks down into families and different things like that. Do we know anything about them? And I'm assuming when they come, do they come with absolutely nothing?
Yeah, I mean, it's it's like such a fluid process right now. Really don't know the makeup. Of course, we're equipped to work with kind of anyone, families with young children, people, people that come that may be elderly, people with medical issues. We're really well equipped, so we're definitely ready for that. But as you said, people are coming with absolutely nothing, kind of the clothes on your back, as it were.
And we've
So,
seen those pictures that
mhm,
I mean, literally show that. So this whole operation with the administration is Operation Allies Welcome. The
yes,
key word being allies. These are our friends.
hmm,
And
yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
oh no, I just wanted to make sure that, these are people who are coming, who have helped us or along those lines, just to be very clear about that.
Yeah, and I mean, and I think that it just kind of goes to show. I mean, the outreach that I've gotten, people that have called me, people that have served in Afghanistan, people that are veterans have really made it clear that they want us here in Louisville to help in this process. So yeah, I mean, I think it just goes to show that we as a community feel a responsibility to help those who've helped our servicemen and women in the past. As I mentioned, people who have come as special immigrant visa holders, they have a very deep connection with people in the military. They've served as interpreters, they've worked on bases, they've done a lot of things. So that kind of intersection between those two communities is really strong.
Let's talk about the fact that so many in the community I know have reached out, and we wanted to impart this interview to say, if you're out there and you can do something, here are some things that you can do. Give us a laundry list of some of the things. I mean, it can be you can sponsor people, you can give monetary donations if you have housing. What are the main things that you need? And if you could prioritize a little bit for us, would be great.
I mean, of course, monetary donations. I mean, I know that's always a big ask, but I think at this moment in time, just really being able to, for us to assess the need of the people that are coming and then get that need into the hands of those that have the largest need. Of course, sponsorship groups is something that we're always looking for. A family, smallish groups of people that are willing to do some part of that resettlement process, help us in some part of that resettlement process, be it setting up an apartment, picking somebody up from the airport, helping with transportation after they arrive. Those kind of things are always needed. Material goods, as we mentioned, people are coming with nothing or next to nothing, and just those items that you would use to furnish an apartment. I think it's always good to remember, there are some things that we get, we have been receiving donations for a long time now, and as you can imagine, some things we get a lot of, like clothes that we're no longer able
Mhm.
to take, and couches. We get a lot of those, so we're really not looking for that in particular, but like things that a lot of the times you don't get rid of, like kitchen table and kitchen chairs, and some of those items that people don't typically donate that are used. A lot of our items, of course, are used donated items, but those like kitchen items that are consumable, like soap and laundry detergent and scrub brushes and trash cans and
Things
shower
like
curtain
that.
liners, those kind of things that I think a lot of the times when somebody's imagining, oh, what somebody needs, I often liken it to, when you have, somebody, your son or daughter who is moving out, first time that they're moving out of the house, and the
The
things that
staples.
the things that they are probably not thinking about, but you as,
Right.
like, oh yeah, you're definitely going to need to have a dish rack, right? Because
Exactly. Those kind
your
is
18-year-old son's not going to think about his
you're
dish rack.
exactly right on that. We have the mama had the list on that one. Let me ask you, is there a place people can go? Is it set up on your website where people can look?
Yes, and so really right now we're getting so much interest, and we're really trying to mobilize and operationalize all of that great support. We're really trying to analyze also what the actual need is going to be, because as I said, that's kind of in flux. So we're really asking most people or everyone to go to our website. That's www.cclu.org/Afghanistan. And there you can fill out a form. We will sort through that list. Of course, we're asking people to be patient because, like I said, we're trying to sort through all of
Right.
there anybody can offer kind of any kind of support. So we're really trying to make sure that we do right by the clients and by our generous donors.
Right, exactly on that. Other things I wanted to make sure, if you're an employer, if you have housing, if you own a place, and
Mhm.
those would be two things to think about as well, because eventually people are going to need jobs, correct?
Right. Yes. I would hasten to say, we have had such great support from local employers over the years that really we have kind of an abundance of connections with
Oh,
employers,
good.
but we're always looking for making new connections and things like that. It just depends on kind of as it were, supply and demand. But yes, employers can go to that website as well. Housing is definitely it's an issue in this community for sure. It's something that we're really trying to work through on a community level. But yes, any kind of independent living space type housing, something like an apartment. If you have a rental property, especially we're looking for places that are um, like single unit housing, like if you have a home to rent, um, you know, especially for the larger families. Like I said, I don't really know the makeup, but we do struggle finding 3 and 4 and 5 bedroom
Right.
houses that are of course affordable. Of course, affordability and access to public transportation, all of those things are essential for a new family that's arriving to Louisville. But really that's kind of what we're looking for. And once again, anybody that has a property can go to that website, that
Same place.
cclu.org, Afghanistan. Yes.
Wonderful. And one thing that I saw some of the facts that usually with families who come in, you may be helping and offering services for up to 5 years after they get here.
Yes, I mean the traditional resettlement process really is just getting them established, getting them into a home, getting them the essential items that they need, food and clothing and those things, and then going through like an orientation process. Of course, so we talked about employment, help them find a job, help them with English language training, but of course, we're always here for people. If they come back because they're looking for a different job or they're having some problems, or if they need to learn something, or they need to enroll their children in school, they're all of those things, we're definitely always here to help. It's not just like that initial
Right.
period that we're here
Yeah,
for.
you're there providing those support services for a while. And we want to say, as far as what is the vetting process or screening process for the people who will be coming?
Yeah, so I mean, this is very important to the resettlement process. There is a security screening, 11-step security screening that people will go through. Those are done by federal agencies, anti-terrorism task force, FBI, other members of the intelligence community, biometrics to make sure that they are who they say they are. Um, and of course, there's a medical screening as well to screen for infectious disease and all of that. So that is a process of the clients that we receive and provide resettlement services to go through.
What would you say with this work that you've done, Louisville as a community and how we embrace people coming in?
I mean, Louisville's a great place. I was mentioning that people from the Afghan community have reached out to me, and I had a conversation not too long ago with a gentleman that he's been here for some time. He's been in the United States for like 20 years. And he's moved around a lot. Been in California, been in Virginia, and in Texas, I think too. And he ended up in Louisville. And he's just talking about how great of a place it is for Louisville. And he was asking me, please let anybody from Afghanistan that is coming know that Louisville is a great place. It's a very welcoming community. We have such great community partners, such great nonprofits. The school system is such a great partner as well. City government is always supportive, and of course, the Catholic community in particular. The parishes here really, really like that's the first people that picked up the phone when this was in the news. Our parish supporters that are asking, like, what can we do? What do you need? Or those that are already familiar with what we're doing to check in and make sure that we know that they're there for our
How
clients.
how do you think this enriches us as a community?
I believe, having diversity in a community is what makes us stronger. I think that's what it is to be American. I think, um, it's, you just, when you start working with people that are come from another country, it really does broaden your horizons and a different way of seeing things. But also, it helps you kind of see the universality of like the human experience. You know, I personally have some young children, and I remember when my kids were little, and well, trading stories with some of the Congolese families, for example, about, oh, they don't listen, or oh, how old are they when they started walking? Oh, mine's not walking yet. Those kind of things. So I think that kind of that universality of the human experience is shown when you work with somebody that on the face of things seems very, they're very different. They may practice a different religion, they speak a different language, but deep down, everybody has the kind of same hopes and desires, security, safety, things that are better for their children, that
Right.
kind of thing.
Well, and we certainly hope that if we were in their shoes, someone would offer us that grace as
Mhm.
well when you watch those scenes play out that were just so heartbreaking. And my final question for you, you've been doing this work for a while. What got you in the work and where do you see hope?
Um, I had a really amazing opportunity when I was in England. I was I was dating my now wife. Then I was in England and couldn't get a job, so I happened upon an opportunity to work with refugees and asylum seekers,
Hmm.
um, and it really opened my eyes. It really did. Of course, I spoke the language. I was in England. I spoke I spoke the language, but I still felt like an outsider, I have to
Hmm.
say. And to have back to that commonality, to talk to somebody. Actually, there were a lot of Afghans there at the time, ironically, and just having a conversation with somebody from Afghanistan. Of course, trying to teach them English, but having a conversation about, man, this weather is awful, isn't it? That kind of thing.
Right.
So I think that being able to come back and to my own back home and my own community and really welcoming people, it really has it's just a great job. The people that we work with, the team that we have here at Catholic Charities is so amazing. We have a lot of people that came through the refugee resettlement process or came as immigrants, and just to see people like really putting themselves out there to welcome. And I did want to mention, I think that's a really important thing about the mission of our work is really welcoming. Welcoming the stranger. I mean, that is really a tenet of Catholic social teachings, and it is definitely something that we try to embody on a day-to-day basis. When people don't feel like, sometimes people feel that they're not wanted, or people feel unsure, and just to see somebody's a smiling face, and especially somebody that speaks your language or something,
Right.
that goes a really long way. Or people from the community that are happy that you're here. I mean, it goes a long way to make somebody feel comfortable.
Well, thank you all. I know that they're going to feel, I hope, a warm embrace from the city of Louisville. Any idea when people might first start getting here?
I think we're thinking in the next couple weeks. It could be a week, couple weeks, 3 weeks. It's really it's kind of, like I said, it's a fluid situation. We're really preparing right now. We're really getting some of our volunteers organized, taking a lot of donations and stuff. So I know that when people visit that website, we'll be getting to you, because I'm sure that we will have a need. So thank you.
Thank you so much for all the work you do. Really appreciate it.
All right. Well, thank you so very much too. I do appreciate it.